I don't want to be associated at all with the forces that seek to suppress freedom of expression. However, in taking questions, I'm sure there may be many of you that wish to make some points and comments, and all I would ask you to do is be mindful of the opportunities of others to do likewise. Now, I don't want to be associated at all with the forces that seek to suppress freedom of expression. However, in taking questions, I'm sure there may be many of you that wish to make some points and comments, and all I would ask you to do is be mindful of the opportunities of others to do likewise. So try to get to your point fairly swiftly. So I'll take the question so that it's genuinely random, but if you stay at the mic and you answer them.
Okay.
So the first question, please. Yes, gentleman over there. If you stand and make yourself clear.
Thank you, Rene, for enlightening us on some of the legal provisions and aspects of the Constitution which should by right prevent the misuse and abuse of the ISA. My question is just about the police and the judiciary, which according to Yang Mulia and many others have allowed these abuses to be carried out. What should be the way forward to restore integrity in these two key institutions, the Royal Malaysian Police and the Malaysian Judiciary in the long term? Thank you very much.
I'll answer one, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Many people do not realize that Malaysia has actually quite a unique system in the sense that we have 4 branches of government. We have Parliament, the legislative, we have the executive, the Prime Minister, we have the judiciary, the courts, and we have the monarchy. Now these 4 branches of government are supposed to work independently in the sense that there's checks and balances. One will check and balance the other. Now if we had the original 4 branches of government, or if we could restore the 4 branches of government that we used to have, then there will be these checks and balances. But now, since the time of Tun Dr. Mahathir, he's removed the powers of the other 3 branches. The last branch in 1993, which is the monarchy. In fact, if you want to read his 16-page speech in Parliament, I've just floated it on my website, Malaysia Today, this morning, about what he said with regards to the monarchy and why we have to remove the powers of the monarchy. He also removed the powers of the judiciary, and he's also removed the powers of Parliament. Remember, there was even one PPP member of Parliament who opposed a certain law that was going to be passed. And he was suspended from Parliament for 6 months. Do you know any other country in the world where a member of Parliament is suspended for 6 months because he stood up to oppose? He said, I'm here representing the voters. The voters voted for me. And this law that you want to pass is not to the benefit of the voters. So he opposed it and he was suspended. And the minister in charge of Parliament, Nazri, he made it very clear. He said the duty of the parliamentarians is to vote according to how their party wants them to vote. Not, according to how the voters want them to vote. So, Malaysia has been reduced from a system of 4 branches of government to only 1, and that is the executive. And because of that, power has concentrated in the hands of one man, the executive or the Prime Minister. He decides who becomes the Chief Justice, he decides who becomes the Chief of Police, the IGP, and he decides everything. So one man calls the shots. If we had an independent judiciary, and if Parliament could set up, say, a judicial commission, whereby the appointments of judges, the promotions of judges is decided by the Judicial Commission, not by the Prime Minister. If we had an independent police force commission, And the head of the Police Force Commission and the members of the commission is decided by Parliament, not by the Prime Minister. Then we can keep the judiciary, the police, election commission, MACC, the corruption commission, we can keep them in check because their appointments are not decided by the Prime Minister. Their appointments are decided by the commission, which is answerable to Parliament. And the commission should comprise of not only loyal UMNO members, but parliamentarians and members from both sides of the political divide, plus non-politicians, retired judges who have, a fantastic record in the judiciary, well respected, senior lawyers even, should be in these commissions, which decides on policies, appointments, promotions, and so on and so forth. Then all these things that we are seeing can be eradicated. You see, the problem is, most of us look at the symptoms of the disease and how do we cure this? We can't cure the symptoms of the disease. We have to cure the cause of the disease. We cure the cause, the symptoms disappear automatically by itself. So, even the opposition is always talking about extrajudicial killings where 1,800 people have been killed over the last 10 years. Killed either under detention, under interrogation, killed while so-called resisting arrest, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's quite coincidental when 5 gangsters or 5 kidnappers are all die resisting arrest, and all have bullets at the back of their head. You know what I mean? So this is not a gunfight. This is an execution. Now these are symptoms of the disease. We can't get rid of that. We have to get rid of a corrupt police force. And the way to get rid of the corrupt police force is to have a system which keeps the police force in check. And I remember Tan Sri Amin, the deputy IGP who was the acting IGP when Tun Hanif, the IGP, was in London for 1 year taking up law. He was on leave for 1 year. He took up law. I think it was mid-80s, thereabouts. And when Tan Sri Amin became the acting IGP, and we spoke to him how to solve the problem of a corrupt police force. He says, well, if I want to clean up the police force, I'll have to get rid of 98% of the policemen, leaving only 2%. I never asked him, is he in the 98 or the 2? But that's how serious. I mean, come on, the acting IGP admitting that it's impossible to clean up the police force. And we're talking about something that's 25 years ago. It's just got worse. You see? And so, even the opposition makes this mistake. They're always focusing on the symptoms of the disease. And we can't find a solution because nobody can cure the symptoms. We have to cure the cause. And the cause is that separation of powers. Restoring the 4 independent branches of government. That happens, everything else falls into place. And some of the problems are self-solving. We don't need to solve it. They solve themselves if we can solve the top end. Thank you.